So you're looking at the Donner DED-400 electronic drum kit. You probably want to know if this is the best beginner e-kit on the market right now. For the best price, click the link in the description. /N, but here's what surprised me. After testing it against kits twice its price, I found something most reviews completely miss. /N, therefore, this isn't just a review, it's a warning. A warning that this drum set could be a massive mistake, or the smartest purchase you'll ever make. Let's find out which. /N ACT1, the hook and the first impression /N. Let's be honest. Shopping for your first electronic drum kit is a nightmare. You're bombarded with specs, mesh heads, module sounds, polyphony. It's overwhelming. You just want to practice without annoying the neighbors and not go bankrupt. /N, therefore, the Donner DED-400 seems like the perfect answer. It promises a full 8-piece kit with a double bass pedal and a throne for a shockingly low price. The pictures look slick. /N, but the moment the box arrives, you'll feel a wave of doubt. Is this flimsy toy garbage or a hidden gem? /N, I assembled it in my studio, and my first thought was, interesting. The rack is predominantly steel, which is good, but the plastic clamps and joints feel like they require a gentle, diplomatic touch. You won't be doing any heavy metal throws on this thing, at least not the physical kind. /N, here's the first mini promise. I'm going to tell you the one component you must upgrade immediately if you buy this kit. It's not what you think, and ignoring this will ruin your experience. /N, the module, the brain of the operation, is lightweight plastic. It has a modest screen and a straightforward button layout. It doesn't scream premium. But remember, we're in the budget arena. /N, therefore, the real test isn't the build when it's silent. It's the build when you start hitting it. I powered it on, grabbed the sticks, and took my first swing at the snare pad. /N, and that's when the first major twist happened. The sound that came out of my headphones wasn't the tinny, pathetic thwap asterisk I was braced for. It was a surprisingly decent, punchy snare crack. /N, but wait, doesn't that mean it's perfect? /N, therefore, we need to go much, much deeper. Because in the world of budget gear, good sound often hides frustrating compromises, and the DED-400 has its fair share. Let's dissect it piece by piece, starting with the thing you'll touch the most, the pads, /N ACT2, the deep dive PADS, SOUNDS, and the hidden truth /N. The promise is 8 pieces. Snare, 3 toms, 3 cymbals, hi-hat, crash, ride, and a kick pad. They're all dual zone except the kick and the hi-hat pedal trigger. That means the snare and toms can sense a head hit and a rim hit for different sounds, and the cymbals can do a bow hit and a bell hit. /N, but here's the catch. The mesh heads on the DED-400 are not the high-tension, responsive mesh you find on a Roland. They're a softer, looser synthetic fabric. The rebound is slower and mushier. /N, therefore, if you're a complete beginner, you might not notice. Your focus is on hitting the right thing at the right time. But if you have any acoustic drum experience, this feels like playing on pillows. It teaches a lazy rebound. /N, now, for that crucial upgrade I promised. It's the hi-hat pedal. The included pedal is a simple on-off switch in a pedal housing. It has no feel, no sweep. It's either closed or open with no in-between chick sound. This isn't playing a hi-hat. It's operating a light switch with your foot. It's the kit's weakest link. /N, therefore, my mandatory upgrade advice. Budget an extra $50 $100 for a used, proper electronic hi-hat pedal like a used Yamaha or a Donner one. It will transform the expressiveness of your playing. Without it, you're learning on a broken instrument. Consider that your first pro tip. /N, let's talk cymbals. They're rubber. Not silicone, not multi-zone wonders, but rubber. They're quiet, which is good for neighbors, but they have a distinct *thunk feel. The choke function works. You can grab the crash to silence it, which is fantastic at this price. /N, but can you do a realistic ride bell pattern? Kind of. The ride zone is there, but it's not the most sensitive. Think of it as a suggestion of a bell sound rather than a precise instrument. For practicing basic patterns, it's fine. For recording a jazz album, look elsewhere. My ride cymbal review? It's like a loyal dog that's not very smart. It's always happy to see you, but don't ask it to do calculus. \n now, the module. 225 built-in sounds, 10 drum kits, 50 play-along tracks. Sounds impressive on paper. \n therefore, let's listen. Audio demo of kit sounds, you heard that. The sounds are usable. The acoustic kits are passable, especially through good headphones. The snares have some body, the kicks have a low and thump. They are not detailed, not deeply layered, but they are musical. \n but, and this is a huge but, the electronic and percussion sounds are where this module shows its budget teeth. Some of them sound like they were sampled from a child's keyboard from 1998. There's a cowbell on here that made my dog tilt his head in confusion. I think he filed a noise complaint. \n the play-along tracks are generic rock, pop, and blues patterns. They're cheesy, but they serve a purpose, keeping time. Think of them as a metronome with a bad haircut. \n here's another mini twist. The connectivity. It has MIDI out via USB. This is the DED-400 secret weapon. \n therefore, you can plug this kit directly into your computer. Use a DAW like GarageBand or a dedicated drum VST like EZ-Drummer or Steven Slate drums, and suddenly you're playing with multi-million-dollar studio drum sounds. The module sounds become irrelevant. You're just using the pads as triggers. This completely changes the value proposition. \n, but does the triggering work well enough for that? Mostly, yes. There's some minor crosstalk. Hitting one pad triggers another slightly, and the hi-hat pedal issue remains, but for basic triggering into a VST, it's serviceable. This turns the DED-400 from a toy into a legitimate practice and entry-level recording tool. \n let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the throne. It's included. That's amazing for the price. \n therefore, you must lower your expectations to sub-basement levels. It's a basic stool with minimal padding and height adjustment. It's the kind of throne that makes you stand up during practice, not for a drum fill, but to regain feeling in your legs. It's functional, but you'll want to upgrade it eventually. Consider it a free placeholder. \n we've covered the pads, the sounds, the secret USB weapon. But there's one final massive question. Who is this kit actually for? \n/n#ACT3. The resolution, the verdict, 2 weeks of solid testing. Here's my unfiltered conclusion. The Donner DED-400 is not a perfect instrument. It has mushy pads, a tragic hi-hat pedal, cheesy sounds, and a wobbly rack if you don't tighten everything with the fury of 1,000 suns. \n but, and this is the contrarian snapback for a specific person, it is an absolutely brilliant purchase. \n therefore, let's break down the buy and do not buy scenarios. \n do not buy the Donner DED-400 if you are an intermediate or advanced drummer looking for a quiet practice kit. The pad feel will frustrate you and build bad habits. You have a budget over $600. Save a little more and get a used Roland TD-07 or Alesis Nitro Mesh. The jump in quality is massive. You want a plug-and-play, pro-sounding kit out of the box without using a computer. \n buy the Donner DED-400 if you are an absolute, total beginner who needs the cheapest possible entry point to see if you even like drumming. This gets you a full setup with a throne and pedals for an unbeatable price. You are a parent buying for a curious child. It's durable enough for kids and quiet enough for your sanity. You understand its primary use will be as a MIDI trigger for computer drum software. In that role, it's a phenomenal value. \n here's the final open loop. Can this kit survive? The rack, once properly tightened and positioned, is stable. The pads are simple and should last under normal use. The module is basic electronics. With care, it should give you 1 to 3 years of service, which for a beginner is often all you need before you either quit or upgrade. \n but remember my warning from the start. This purchase is a strategic gamble. You're trading immediate quality for ultimate affordability. \n therefore, my final verdict. The Donner DED-400 is the best-worst electronic drum kit or the worst-best one. It exists in a quantum state of value. It makes huge compromises but delivers on the core promise, letting you hit things in rhythm, quietly, without selling a kidney. /N, it's the drumming equivalent of a learner's permit car. It's dented, the radio only gets one station, and it smells faintly of old fries, but it teaches you how to drive. And sometimes that's exactly what you need. Just promise me you'll upgrade that hi-hat pedal, please. For all of us, my ears can't take another asterisk click-clack asterisk of that plastic switch. It's like listening to a metronome made of angry crickets. /N, if you've made it this far, you're now armed with the truth. You know the surprises and the pitfalls. You know about the MIDI lifeline. So, if you've decided this is the risk you're willing to take to start your drumming journey, /N therefore, for the absolute best current price on Amazon, click the link in the description below. I've checked it, and it's the fastest way to get this kit to your door. Thanks for watching, and happy drumming!